Welcome back, Red Door family and friends. It's an absolute pleasure to have you guys joining us for this month's market reports, which is going to cover August of 2024. And by popular demand, we have included a new market report for a new area. So stay tuned for that. Check that out. It's going to be towards the tail end of this podcast. As everyone knows, I'm joined here with Mike Taylor, broker owner of Red Door Property Management. How's it going, Mike?
Real good, Chris. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm really good. We got through that intro with only one mess up. So let's dive in before I screw it up. So here we go. Let's get into Indianapolis market report for August 2024. Overall, I think the numbers are looking really, really good. And as we've done this for, how long has it been now? Year and a half?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, something like that. We're beginning to be able to track long-term data, which is amazing to see, which is also granting us the ability to somewhat predict the future, or at least have a good grasp on what the future is going to hold, which what investor doesn't want that information? So it's so important for you to tune in. It's so important for you to like and subscribe so you're notified when these reports drop every single month. Hopefully you're checking them out on Facebook and at least giving us a like. But if you're not, I'd appreciate it if you pop over there and check us out. But all right, enough rambling on. Let's check out what's the Indianapolis market looking like, Mike.
Yeah, let me ramble just for 1 second, Chris. I do just want to echo that it is staying on top of this can provide such valuable insight to an investor who's either looking to purchase or has a vacancy coming up. So it can kind of let you see into the future a little bit. So we try to provide a ton of value as far as that goes. Also, wanted to mention that we are getting a lot more engagement, a lot more comments and DMs. And I think we had one or two suggesting that we kind of slice and dice the data a little bit more, like 2 bedrooms versus 3 bedrooms versus 4 bedrooms, a lot of different ways that we can look at it. We are working on that. So if you have any suggestions on topics, different ways you want to see the data, different things that you want to see, please let us know. And we will incorporate that into either this or other videos that we are creating. So please provide that feedback to us. We love it and we welcome it wholeheartedly. So now let's dive into Indianapolis.
Let's do it. Let's go.
Okay. I would say really Indianapolis, and probably I think the theme of this month is stability, right? So you can see here on the median price over time, it's really very, very similar to last year. We, even though we're actually up 7% over last year, kind of flattened out from last month. So really the same average rent from July to August. But what I'm encouraged about is days on the market. You know, we've talked about that a lot this year in terms of a lot of volatility, end of last year, beginning of this year. Feel like we're finally like calming down and having a little bit of stability with these days in the market. So even though it's a little higher than I would like to see, 39 days in the market is encouraging, all things considered, with what we've been seeing over the past, like I said, year and the beginning of this year. So really, really encouraging. I mean, that is down 40% from last year and 13% from last month. So that is pretty significant, heading in the right direction. Active homes is 1856. You'll see how that kind of relates on the next slide, but that's very, very consistent with last year. And then average sales price, you know, I harp on this every single time, but gosh, how affordable is that? 254, 855. What an affordable market. That's actually up almost 8% from last year and up 3.5% from last month. So it is still ticking up. We are still seeing average sales price tick up, but all that being said, 254 is an amazingly affordable market. So if you're a new investor, Indianapolis has a lot to offer in terms of the affordability. And look, there's almost 1,000 homes sold that's under 500,000. We always look at under 500 because, you know, most investors are going to be looking under that price point. So lots and lots of inventory to choose from in that affordable price point.
Yeah, I mean, you nailed it all. What else can I say? I mean, the secret is starting to get out. I mean, Barbara Corcoran herself acknowledged Indianapolis as one of the top 3 cities to be investing in for the near future. If you haven't checked out that article, be sure to do so. It's really, really good. And it's encouraging for the Indianapolis market. And you can obviously see why in these numbers. Mike, I completely agree. It's stabilizing. That's going to be the theme of this month's market reports. I have no doubt after just taking a quick look. That's what we're seeing, which is every investor's dream. I think stability. So average sales price is awesome for this market. Let's keep it going.
Yeah, let's go to the next slide just to kind of offer some perspective on the two of the data points, one active homes and then the other one days on the market. So active homes on the left here, you can see it's really trending almost the exact same as last year. So in the summer months we had a little bit less inventory. It is creeping up as we come out of the summer season. Which is the exact same as last year. So no alarm bells, nothing going off there. Kind of again consistency and more of the same. And then days on the market is heading in the right direction. And if it does do what it did last year, for some reason it kind of bottomed out in like October, November, which is a little unusual. But last year was a very unusual year in terms of days on the market and things like that. So anyway, I think at this point, let's take a look. Yeah, we are at August is the lowest point there on the graph for the year for days on the market, as it should be. I mean, it's the height of the leasing season. It's when the most activity is. That really should be typically when we have the lowest days on the market. So it's good to see some stability, some predictability come back to this market that has always been traditionally, stable and predictable.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, completely agree. I'd love to see those days on market ticking down. I know we went through a period there when it was, as you can see, May, June, even prior to April, March, when you're over 50 days, it becomes a little bit concerning, which, of course, as I reiterate, every single market report it indicates the importance of being in tune with the market data, which is why we get the viewership we do. So here we go. Keep it rocking.
Yep.
Fishers. I know everyone watching this is a longtime viewer, so I'm about a lot like that graph there on the left. I'm up, I'm down, I'm up, I'm down, and I actually, the theme this month is consistency. So in the last few months, I've consistently been back on the Fishers train, and this is a really good market to be a part of. Active homes 109. Let's see where that correlates. That's down just 6 homes month over month, so pretty consistent there. Average rents were down about 6%. Average days on market at 32. The most important data point to me every single month that we do these market reports is your average days on rent. Every day that the property remains vacant is lost dollars. So I love seeing an average days on market at 32. And now I'm going to jump back to median rental price over time. You'll see, as indicated by last year. So here we are with the ability to predict the future. We should have seen a slight decrease for August coming. And if last year is any indication of what we should be expecting come September and October, I would imagine it will tick down. I know that it's ticking up there, but that is only a sneak peek into a very minute data set. So this is a great market. Jumping over our line over to average sales price at 368, down. It's really consistent. You can't even really call that down month over month, but up just over 1.5% year over year. So this is a solid market. If you're already in this market, you're feeling pretty good. There's a couple other markets I'd probably be looking at before Fishers, but Fishers is not a market I would avoid by any stretch.
No, good safe market. What's encouraging to me is just that line is just solidly the 2024 rental price over time is just completely solidly over the 2023 line. So sometimes it kind of dips and goes back and forth, but Fishers is very, very consistent. Even though we had a small dip from July to August, it's still up almost 5% from last year, which is really, really encouraging.
Absolutely. All right, let's look where we compare. Again, consistency. We are pretty much right in tune on the active homes where we were last year. So that's great. I would imagine we will stay consistent throughout the rest of this year, depending on how the election turns out. But let's not get into that, shall we? Days on market. Days on market. We're kind of a little bit all over. I mean, as you can see, you can easily look at this and you'd be like, oh, I completely understand why Chris was. He was into the market. He was not into the market. And I mean, I'm back here. Here we are. We're at 32 days, pretty consistent for the last couple months. And I would imagine, based on last year's data, will tick down going into September.
Yeah. Again, it's seen consistency in the market, which is good. It was volatile at the end of the year. It was volatile at the beginning of the year. And it just looks like everything is stabilizing. Active homes, days on the market, it's just stabilizing, which is a good feeling.
Yeah, exactly. Noblesville. Now, this is the market that everyone's excited about. I know that because I'm super excited about it. I've been excited about it since day one, maybe day two. I don't know. But Greenwood. Greenwood reminds me a lot of Noblesville, but we'll get to Greenwood in a minute and you'll see exactly what I mean. Noblesville is awesome. Active homes in the market at 98. Average rents are ticking up just over 3% month over month. But look at that other number. It is up over 15% year over year, and that's incredible.
That is
Over
insane.
2,000 a month in average rents. It's really, really awesome. And then the awesomeness doesn't stop there. You go down to average days on the market. We're at 25 days on the market, which is down 46% month over month. I mean, what do you? I'll let you talk. This is great. This is a market you're looking at. If you got in early, you're killing it.
Yeah, it's like party time for Noblesville, Noblesville rental market right now, right? I mean, everything is good. Everything is just positivity.
Absolutely, yeah. So median rental price over time, it continues to tick up. Not too worried about that dip we're seeing in September. Even if there is a slight dip, I'm not worried. I'm up 15% year over year. But I would imagine by the time all the data is in for September, that line will kind of level out just a bit.
Yep.
Active homes over time, again, consistency. We're looking at almost exactly what we were seeing last year. So I would imagine we're going to tick up as we start to get into October, as we start to get into November. We'll see what happens. Right now, we're at 98 active homes in the market. Right, we'll see what happens as we get all the data in for September, but I would imagine we're going to track that line quite closely. When you get over to days on the market, again, we're staying consistent. I mean, we're at 23 in April, ticking up to 47 in July, down to 25. That's consistent enough for me. That's a stable, safe market to be a part of.
Yeah, and again, I mean, almost. Let's see. Looks like April had an amazing month at 23, but almost the lowest point of the year here again for days on the market. Really, really strong. And again, to me, it's so cool that we're tracking these numbers over time and to look at them. I don't know anybody else is doing that. It's super cool to look at this data and say, how was this, compared to last year? You can see the active homes over time is trending almost exactly. And although days on the market is a little bit erratic, it kind of has the same trend line. So it's just super cool and just, again, really good news for Noblesville right now.
Yeah. I mean, it really feels like we're putting out a valuable product when you see this kind of correlation.
Yep.
Westfield, here's your market.
Yeah, my market. Again, stability is what I see here in Westfield. So, nothing crazy to report, although it is up 4% year over year and 1.6% month over month. So we're still seeing growth in the rents. It's probably slowed down a little bit, but I mean, it had a meteoric rise. You couldn't keep that up. But it's still super strong. 79 homes on the market. There is a little bit of a concern there. We'll take a peek at the next slide, but right now it's okay, but it's trending kind of in the wrong direction in terms of active homes. But active days on the market is 31 days on the market, which is very, very reasonable. That is down 50% from last year, 6% from last month. So everything is trending in the right direction. Even, I mean, including sales price. Look at that, 391. 120, which is up 2.3% over last year, 2.6% over last month. So, I mean, they're not like shockingly eye-popping like Noblesville, where you're going to see a 15% year over year rent increase, but 4.27 after we've seen what we've seen in this market over the last couple of years. I mean, I'm still encouraged. I'm still bullish on the Westfield market. I still like it a lot.
Yeah. This is a really good market. And a lot of new construction, as we've discussed over several months of market reports. It's a lot of new construction. A lot of new investor activity is leaning towards new construction, primarily because of the rates, right? You're going to get a little bit more than your average conventional loan rates that you're going to find for just a normal home purchase. The builder is going to give you a better rate. So we're bringing on a lot of new construction, and that's exactly what's happening here in Westfield. You're going to see those active homes tick up. In fact, let's just jump over. Mike, I'm going to steal your walkabout here, but you're going to immediately see your active homes tick up to 108. And I would absolutely attribute that to the new construction that's happening in Westfield. New construction is booming in Westfield, as it is in several suburban areas here around Indianapolis. I talk to a lot of new investors on a daily basis. A lot of new investors are leaning into new construction because of the benefit of a lower interest rate than you're going to find on your standard conventional loan on a non-new construction type purchase. So that's what I think is contributing to the tick up in the Westfield active homes, indicating 108 for this. Leaning into September, rather, is looking at 108. But I think that's what's going to be a leading indicator is just new construction, new acquisition of new construction properties. Mike, go ahead.
Yeah. So two things come to my mind, Chris. One, not to get off topic here, but you're right in that new construction can actually be, and we did a YouTube video on this, like should we have new construction or should we use a new construction home as a rental? There's pros and cons for sure. But you hit the nail on the head with that being one of the major pros is that you can get really creative financing, or the builder is willing to buy down your rate, or a combination of both. I mean, right now with rates, I mean, I think they're predicting that the Fed's going to lower rates for the first time in a long time, in maybe next week. So, in that environment, it really makes sense to look at maybe some ARMs, which I'm not a huge fan of, like short-term adjustable rates. But in this case, where rates are higher and kind of the consensus is they're going to be going lower, a 3-1 ARM or a 5-1 ARM might make a lot of sense. With a buy down, I mean, it really can affect your monthly payment. So that's a huge reason why you would seriously consider new construction for a rental. Anyway, total sidebar.
Valuable information, though. It's good information to have. Information that I didn't even fully have. So that's valuable insight.
So jumping back into Westfield, again, Westfield I think is a very strong market. I do want to kind of just raise a little bit of concern in the short term. We are seeing a big jump in inventory. You can see jump from 79 to 108. That's a pretty big jump. That's I think about a 37% jump if my quick math is right. And what I am a little concerned about, we'll definitely keep an eye on, is that affecting the days on the market. So you can see we had a similar ramp up at the end of the year last year. That the blue line at the end of last year jumped up to 120. And then if you follow that then to the red line of 2024, because that's the end of 2023. So 2024, 60 days later, we're seeing huge days on the market. So 123 days on the market, which was shocking. So I'm hopeful that it's not going to be that bad, but it is definitely something to keep an eye on. And if you have something coming on the market or you have a renewal, really pay attention to that now. You might need to be a little bit more aggressive on your price, but my suggestion would be aggressive now, get somebody in there, and then look for I would even do like a 8 or 9 month lease or like an 18-month lease. I would get off of this like fall winter cycle for sure, because you can see there's a trend to have higher days on the market. That's just normal, but specifically in Westfield, higher days on the market in those winter months. So that's what I would do. I would be really aggressive right now if I had a home on the market, trying to get it rented up like right now.
Yeah, exactly. I'm so glad you mentioned that. We almost glossed over it. And there's numerous reasons why you should be in tune to these market reports. But what better reason than to stay that far ahead of it? If you've got a property that's coming up on the market, you need to be making adjustments, or at least considering adjustments right now. Stay way ahead of this. You don't want a property to remain on the market for 2 months longer than it needs to be. That absolutely obliterates your ROI. So avoid that. And one way that you can almost certainly avoid it is being in tune to what's going on in the market prior to the market shifts. So thanks for that additional insight, Mike.
Yep.
All right, let's get into Greenwood, which I should probably just copy and paste everything I mentioned from Noblesville. This is a super solid market. I love Greenwood. Everything is pretty comparable, from the school systems to the pricing. Your average rents at $19.10, which again almost mirrors our Noblesville. It's up over 15% year over year. That's incredible. That's awesome. Your average days on market, although they're up 32% month over month, who cares? Your average days on market's 41. I might make a slight adjustment based on that market data, but I'm not going to make a major adjustment. That's how in tune you can be by following these market reports. It's up 41. Ooh, let me make maybe just a slight reduction to cut my days on market a little bit. So that's awesome information to have. Your average sales price at 310, which is even more affordable than the Noblesville market. So definitely my top two markets are near top, certainly top three markets I'm looking at is going to be Noblesville and Greenwood. 310, 800, that's up 3% month over month. Solid market, reliable market to be a part of. I expect even more growth over the next 3 to 5 years.
Yeah, 100%. It is a proven market. We're talking about Lebanon and Anderson as kind of like an emerging market. Greenwood is a proven market. You are buying basically a stable asset, right? It's got good schools. It's got good community, good renters. So this is a solid, stable, proven asset. So I feel good about the Greenwood market as well.
Good. I'm glad we're on the same page here. Rental market trends. Greenwood, again, pretty consistent lines here. There's no major fluctuations with your active homes, slightly ticking up come September. We'll see if that continues to be the case as we get into September market reports. But we're at 116 currently, which is ticking just down slightly from July. But it's consistent numbers from year over year. Now, the days on market, if you're only tuning in to catch the days on market and you're catching that graph, it's a little bit concerning. But, I mean, it's hard not to look at that 154, right? Yeah. I mean, this year, back in June, we're on the market for 154 days. That's hopefully a blip. I mean, that's I don't have any articulate way to explain that. But what we need to pay attention to is July, we're at 31. Ticking up just slightly in August, but if there's any connection with last year, we should definitely see this continue to just stabilize.
Yeah, it's really interesting to see this graph, how wild of a ride it was in both 23 and 24 in the winter and then early spring, and then how stable it gets at the end of the year. It's really kind of surprising, actually. But let's hope for the stability, because that feels a whole lot better. 31 days and 41 days and 35 and 34. Those look like a whole lot better numbers than 75, 97, and 103. So let's hope that this stability trend continues here in the Greenwood market.
Yeah, that sounds good. All right, let's get into Anderson. So I mentioned Noblesville and Greenwood as in my top three. That's because Anderson's going to certainly be up there right along with it. Anderson's a great starter market, which is awesome that we're providing you not only consistent markets over time, but also markets where if you're a new investor and you're looking at places to put your money, this is an absolutely stellar place to start. Average sales prices at 182. I'm not concerned with the downtick month over month. We're up 7% year over year. I absolutely would expect that to climb. It's a slow climb. It's been a slow climb for Anderson, and I don't expect it to be a fast-paced climb, but I do expect it to continue to climb as the years continue. So there's time, I think, to enter the Anderson market, but it's 100% a market that you should be looking at. I mean, your average days on rent, which are up, man, look at that number. And maybe we should double check that number to confirm that's accurate, but we're up 200%. In fact, yeah, know what? Yeah, I have last month's market report right here in front of me. We were looking at 18 average days on the market. We're at 53 now, it's not a super scary number. I mean, my God, we were looking at Greenwood a few minutes ago, and it indicated a few months ago that it was 154 days on the market. So 53 days on the market, but it is absolutely a market or a number rather that you're going to start thinking about making some adjustments. Mike, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I like Anderson. I mean, honestly, just if for nothing else, the affordability factor, both for purchase price and rent price. I mean, this is literally half of anything else that we're showing you in terms of average rent. I mean, average rent is $800. I mean, geez. I think Noblesville was like $2,000. Westfield's like $2,400. I mean, this is a third to a half as much as these things. So, I mean, there's honestly nowhere to go but up. I mean, 800 is so unheard of these days. Anything under $1,000 is unheard of. So I think that this is kind of these numbers are a little bit lagging or kind of showing you how much room there is to grow in this market. I mean, gosh, even if we showed that average rent at 1,200, that's still completely and totally affordable as compared to Noblesville and Fishers, which are just right down the road. So again, for me, this is just an affordability play, and there's nowhere else close by that comes close to this affordability.
Yeah. Yeah. And who's not looking for affordability these days? Am I right?
Yep.
All right. Let's keep it moving forward. Here we are. West Side Roundup. This is awesome. It's going to be quick because all three of these markets are very similar. We're going to be looking at Avon, we're going to be looking at Brownsburg, and we're going to be looking at Plainfield. You'll quickly find that a lot of these numbers correlate, but each of these markets are very important to stay in tune with. So we still want to keep them as separate market reports, but they all geographically and market data are pretty similar markets. So we're going to skip through these. Mike, if you have any input you want to throw in, just wave me down, and I'll try to give you a few minutes to jump in. Active homes. We're going into Avon August 2024 market report. Active homes 35, average rents at 2105, up 8%, nearly 8% month over month, up freaking 13% year over year. That's incredible. Average days on market is so low, and that's going to be very consistent in all three of these markets. Average days at 22, and that's up 10% month over month. That's really, really awesome. The average sales price is pretty consistent to what we're seeing in a lot of these suburban areas at 343. It's slightly lower than I think what we've found in some of these other suburban markets, but it's up 1% month over month, up 2% year over year. And keep in mind, this is our investor point of view. So it's any homes that have sold under the $500,000 price point. Brownsburg, we're going to see something extremely similar. It's almost like I said that at the beginning of this West Side Roundup. Active homes in the market, 27. Average rents, $2,094 a month is what you're seeing as an average. That's up over 7.5% month over month, up 4%, 3.5% rather, year over year. Average days on market at 23. Average sales price, surprise, surprise, looks a lot like what we were seeing in Avon at 340, 479. Down 3.5% year over year. That is a surprising fact, I will say. Yeah. It's not what we're seeing in some of these other Westfield Roundup markets, but that is a surprising number nonetheless. Mike, anything you want to mention about why we might be seeing that in Brownsburg?
What do you Chris, I don't have any immediate insight into that, honestly. That it seems a little bit counterintuitive, and like you said, it's counter to what we're seeing. So sorry, Chris, I don't have anything. I don't have any insight into that one. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't really either, but I will tell you, maybe this is a little blip from the numbers we were putting together this month. Let's see what this is going to indicate come September, because last month we were seeing 352, 828, which was up just under 3% year over year. So this could be a little blip where we know that all markets, including in a Westfield or West Side Roundup, is known to see its occasional blip. So that's probably what we're seeing here. Nothing I'd be overly concerned about.
Yeah, I just looked up some old market report data, and for some reason this month is just off. Like last month was 352, the month before that 354. There was a 336 back in there in May, but 368. So this seems just a little bit of an off month for whatever reason. I don't know why, but just a little bit of a blip.
Yeah, that seems to track. All right, Plainfield. Again, very similar numbers. Everything from your average sales price at 345, which feels a little bit more what my read on the market would be, is up 7.5% month over month, which is really incredible. But it's up 7.5%. Active homes at 32, average rents just lower than what we were seeing in these other markets, 1747. Again, you're seeing a down month over month, but again, I would probably say that that's highly, it's really consistent actually with month over month. Last month we were looking at 1790. So it's looking at those negative down percentages. It's nothing I'm going to be concerned about, especially when your average days on market is up 92% month over month. So anything you want to throw into this West Side Roundup?
No, well, yeah, just one thing, just a quick commentary on the Plainfield average sales price seems a little bit high to me, to be honest with you, to in comparison to the rent that it's getting. Like for example, Avon, Brownsburg, you're right, everything is so similar. Like so Avon is 343, Brownsburg is 340, and then Plainfield is 345 in terms of the average sales price. But what doesn't correlate is the average rent price. So average rent price is 2,100 in Avon, basically 2,100 in Brownsburg, but then only 1,750 in Plainfield. So in terms of value and return, at least at a quick glance, it's looking like Avon and Brownsburg are going to provide a much better return, to the tune of $300 to $400 per month more purchasing in Avon and Brownsburg versus in the Plainfield. Now, Plainfield's a good market. 25 days on the market is amazing. So I don't want to totally poo-poo it, but just comparing the three different markets, that was kind of my initial thoughts and reactions to that.
And seeing these small little irregularities for each individual market is even more indicative of that it's necessary for us to include these all in a West Side roundup, because no 1 month's data, I think, is going to indicate anything that you should be overly concerned about.
Yeah.
They're all so similar. Just to give you an idea of my thought process, there is your average sales price last month it speaks to exactly what you were just trying to, I think, indicate there, which is 321, 721 was the average sales price last month, and now we're at 345. And you're mentioning how that doesn't really correlate with the average rents. Well, you've got to stay in tune with the entire West Side because they're so closely related. So don't let any one set of data points skew you one way or the other. Yeah. Use the entire West Side as more indicative of the West Side market.
Yeah. And to your point, don't let 1 month, because 1 month's data could be skewed for whatever reasons, a multitude of reasons. Like you said, we're up $20,000 from last month on the average sales price in Plainfield. So got to take everything into perspective.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into Whitestown. West is stuck in the mind.
This is kind of like northwest side, right? So we started doing this a few months back, but this is, in my opinion, it's very, very similar to the Westfield market in terms of growth and potential for future growth, all that kind of stuff. There's lots and lots of activity out there. So anyway, 38 homes on the market. Average rent is $2,300, which is actually shockingly similar to, I think, Westfield. I think it was right at $2,400, something like that. But that is, almost 10% up from last year, which is great. Kind of flatlined from last month, but who cares if you're getting 10% more in your rent this year than you were last year? Who cares? Days on the market, a little bit high, 50 days on the market. That is up from last month, but down 20% from last year. So kind of heading in the right direction from last year, but not knocking out of the park with 50 days on the market. Average sales price $368, up just slightly. We just started tracking this, so we don't have the data from last year, but up just ever so slightly from last month. And there's 50 of those homes that have sold. So this is, again, I think another market. I wouldn't say it's like as tried and true as like a Westfield or an Avon, but it is kind of in between an emerging market and an established market is kind of the way I see it. So a good market over time, lots of growth, lots of construction out there. So this would be a great place if you're into new construction to, potentially purchase a new construction home and use it as a rental on the Whitestown market.
Yeah, I mean, you took the words right out of my mouth. It's that's kind of exactly what I was wanting to add to this one. It is an emerging market. It's not tried and true like the Westfields or really any of the other areas that we've mentioned. So this is just in an effort for us to keep you informed in other suburban areas around Indianapolis that have the potential to provide value. And another really good reason is because this is the corridor that leads us right to the next market report, which is here by popular demand. Several requests for this next market. Mike, I'm going to let you take it from there. If you're ready, I'm going to slide to it.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, so in that same corridor, a little bit north up 65 is Lebanon. And if you aren't aware of it, Lebanon is up and coming. It will be up and coming, in my opinion, for the next, 5 to 10 years. This is going to think grow pretty substantially. Lots and lots of activity going on out there, from commercial to Lilly has a plant going out there. Henke has a huge golf course development going out there. So, I mean, it really has the potential to kind of bridge the gap from Indy to Purdue, and, Indy to Lafayette / Purdue. There's lots of families who have some people who might work in Lafayette and some people who might work in Indy, and that would be a great place to put your family if that was your situation. So anyway, I see a ton of potential out here over the next decade, really. So we're just starting to track this, and we will continue to track this. I think this will be a great market. Anyway, so average rent $1,635, and I mean, wow, look at this, knocking it out of the park the first month that we start tracking it. Look at that, up 29% from last year and up 17% from last month. Like, wow. That is impressive. 18 days on the market. I mean, geez, down 78% from last year, 5% from last month. And on top of all that, it's affordable, $235. I mean, that's I think right on track with Indianapolis. So what doesn't make sense to me, and I don't know if we have the historical data to really speak knowledgeably about this, but I don't know how that's down 25% from last year and 11% from last month. So something tells me that maybe that data is either not good, or there was a blip in the radar or something like that. There was only 16 homes that sold. So with that few data set, you can get one or two that really does throw it off. So I'm not super concerned about that. Let's just put a pin in that and come back to that next month, revisit that average sales price. My guess is it's going to be up pretty significantly. And maybe that 235 is just a bit of a bad number, but wow, what a first month to start tracking this. Rents up 30% year over year.
I'm so excited to start tracking this, not only because a lot of people want to see it, so I think viewership's going to grow. So a little bit self-serving there, but it is a growing market. So I had lunch the other day with a couple of investors, newer investors to the area, and we were talking about the Lebanon market. They were looking for primarily mid-sized multifamily, so 20, 30 units. And they had talked to a couple of current owners of mid-size multifamily units out there. And the two that they were able to get a hold of, both of them were contacted by builders in the area who called them to book up anything that they had available for builders in the area for the next year.
Wow.
So that was, two of them that they spoke to. So they had no vacancies whatsoever. I would imagine, because of the construction that's going on, and if that's happening by builders filling unoccupied units with their workers, our average days on market are going to stay consistently low. Mm-hmm. Our average rents, we might see some movement there, but the building construction that's going on there is going to be huge for many reasons, because of those workers being placed into units and because of the growth that's happening. It's going to drive employment opportunities. So I thought that was really eye-opening, and I was already aware of the growing Lebanon market, but I was really surprised, and it just kind of reconfirmed my suspicions that Lebanon's going to be a huge market over the next 5 to 10 years.
Totally agree. That's a great story. I did not know that. That's really, really interesting. I think we're going to see that demand just through the roof from all of that activity out there, the construction, the new building, I know on our short-term rentals, our Airbnbs, we get a ton of people who are building a home and they're waiting for it to be completed. And those end up being the really good, these like midterm stays, anywhere from a week to 3 or 4 or 5 months. And those stays are extremely, extremely valuable. So same thing if you're renting a home or have an apartment complex. I think there's just a ton of opportunity out here. So I'm excited that we've added this to the roundup and look forward to keep tracking Lebanon.
Exactly. Well, I think that does it for our market reports for August 2024. I don't have anything else to add. If you're new to following these market reports, I know we get a lot of new viewers every single month. Be sure to like and subscribe. And in addition to that, I would love to see some more comments from actual investors who have entered some of these markets and what they might be experiencing. Have you seen higher than what we've kind of indicated on average days on market? Are you able to achieve a slightly higher average rent than what we're indicating here on some of these market reports? I would love to hear, because I know so many new investors do follow these market reports. I'd love to know some feedback. Let me know has the market reports, have you been able to beat what we're reporting on average days on market? I'd love to hear some feedback from some of you new investors out there. Also, what's up and coming? We are shooting another video today with the individual who runs our short-term rental program, pretty much oversees everything that happens on the short-term rental side. I know that's a major interest from a lot of investors interested in the Airbnb VRBO market. Be sure to be on the lookout for that. There's going to be all kinds of super valuable information, how to set up your short-term rental, what markets you might be interested in entering, and how Red Door might assist with difficult situations that come along with managing your short-term rental. So be sure to tune in for that. That's going to be with Rebecca Taylor. She's incredible at what she does. We've been hugely successful on our short-term rental. I'm not sure how, because we were fresh going into it, but we mastered it in a short time. So be sure to check that out. Love to hear some comments on that. I know that's going to be a hit. All that short-term rental information always seems to be high viewership. So be sure to check that out. Appreciate every single one of you. Reach out to me directly if you ever need a rental analysis. I'll be happy to run one any day of the week, including weekends. So reach out. Mike, any parting words?
No, I'm just excited to see some stability come back to the Indy market after what we've seen the last, year or so. So I'm just really encouraged and look forward to seeing what we see over the next couple months.
Absolutely. Same here. Like and subscribe. We'll see you next month.
See you guys.